2. Oun Abbas is saying here for Seconds Out, here with Denzel Bentley. Denzel, 5 weeks here. Yeah. You've just done the press conference. Yeah. You're looking jovial, like you normally do. You got a smile on your face. I've never actually seen you very serious, but 5 weeks here, serious times ahead now.
Yeah, 5 weeks here, you know, just get as serious as I can be. But like you said, I'm always in good spirit, so yeah.
You know what, that first fight, I think it caught a lot of people by surprise. It was a good fight in regards to the names, yourself and Mark Heffron, but the way you guys performed on the night sort of won a lot of people over. I think you got some new fans. I think Mark got some new fans because of that, and a lot of respect because of that. But there's much talked about that fight. You came out after the fight, you said, listen, I clearly won that fight. Mm-hmm. He's come out, he spoke to BT, he said, I think I only gave him 1 or 3 rounds. 1 round where you knocked him down, and maybe another 1 or 2 here and there if I had to be picky. Yeah. Now, when we look at fights like this, you're the slick boxer. You're on the back foot. You know, you push out that jab. You pick your shots well. He's a come forward fighter. When it comes to these sort of fights, how hard is it for the judge to pick a winner? Because we've had this before as well. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, the first fight, exactly the same thing. Fury was beating him, but because Wilder was coming forward, obviously he knocked it down a few times. But talk about sort of judging fights like this. How do you think, as a fighter who enters the ring, a fight should be judged?
See, that's a tricky question because, like, boxing is probably like all fighting sports are like the only sports that's based, like, you win or lose based on opinion. So it's like it depends on what the judge prefers and what he's scoring. Because in my opinion, just walking forward doesn't win you a fight, because then everyone will walk forward. But if you're walking forward and missing, obviously you've got to appreciate the work the other person is doing to make them miss. Same with, like you said, Fury and Wilder, the first fight, even though we did catch him, he went down a couple of times, but those are the only 2 rounds that he was effective in. But I just feel like some judges lack aggression, and if you're coming forward, pushing the fight, they might just score that, saying, no, he's trying to make the fight. But trying to make the fight doesn't necessarily mean you're winning a round. It just means you're trying harder than another person. Like it should just be based on who's landing the cleaner shots. And I'm sure if we had like copy box here, whatever, like they do in America, like you would have seen who landed more shots. So it's tricky to ask to answer that question. But I guess it's just based on what the judges like.
I'm not a fighter, but when I watch back a fight, I like to sort of. I've been watching fights for a long time, been in the industry for a long time, but. You knocked him down. Yeah. You know, you won the first couple of rounds. Did you let your gas off the foot? Was there a time in that fight where you thought, you know what, I'm a bit comfortable here, you know, I knocked him down a couple of points ahead? Did you feel in the fight that you might have, looking back at it now in hindsight, that you let your gas off the foot?
I did. I thought I won the first 4 or 5 rounds, plus the knockdown. So in my mind, I'm counting the rounds and scoring it, like, that's me, you feel me? So then I kind of lost a bit of concentration because I was just thinking about, I was counting the rounds down, thinking about, we've got this much rounds left, you know, just take it easy, they're trying to knock you out late, just don't gas yourself out, just move about, like you can cruise a couple rounds, because I just thought I was ahead. And then I was letting it back in the fight while I was doing that. And obviously I walked back up, I think I won the 8th round, the 9th round, he caught me, and I thought I finished strong in the 10th. But then, like, when I counted in my head, I won the majority of the rounds. But the rounds I did kind of switch off were the rounds that let him back in the fight, and those rounds were still close. So it's just, I don't know how they scored the early rounds. That's my thing. I don't know how the judges scored the early rounds. They might have scored a few even rounds. So I think the early rounds, based on how they scored the early rounds, was what made it a draw.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. As a fighter, then, do you count rounds? Because you've done that in that fight. Do you think going into this fight, you're not going to be counting rounds? You just want to do it on a round-per-round basis where you just feel like, okay, I won that round, done, next round now. Is that how your mentality might have changed compared to the last fight?
Yeah, well, it better have changed because I don't need to be doing that again. But that's the first time I've done that. Yeah. I'm trying to say that's the first time I've done that. And I guess it comes down to experience and what like it's experiencing it, like what you've experienced at that moment and what worked and what didn't. And I've gone through that experience now. So this time it's just tunnel vision, like 100% concentration on what's in front of me and not what's going on around, like the rounds and what's going on, everything, just what's in front of me. I get on with the fight, like win it round by round, but don't be sitting there thinking, we've got 3 rounds left, we've got this. Like, I don't even need to know what round it is, just fight as it is, yeah.
You know what, going into that first fight and even going into this fight, he was always the puncher coming into this fight, this big puncher, knocking people out. Yeah. And I think people overlook your actual record. You've actually fought 14 times, knocked 11 people out. But he was his puncher. Did you, apart from that round where he did sort of rock you a little bit, did you feel like he had the heavy hands?
No, obviously I went in there knowing he does, so I was thinking, all right, don't get caught with nothing silly. But apart from the 9th round, he didn't hit me with anything that made me think, oh, wow, damn, I'm in trouble here. Like, he hit me with that shot in the 9th round. It buzzed me a little bit. Looking at him, held him, recovered in like 2 seconds, and then, I was back to the fight. That was just a good shot in it. I was in the corner with my chin in the air, and he landed a good shot. But like he said, he's a big puncher. Of course, if he landed that, it was going to buzz me. But he didn't hit me with nothing that hurt. Even when he did land, there was no bruises on me or anything that popped up, no lumps. I came out fresh. I came out looking like I do now. I'm going to say. So I'm not really worried about his power.
Sparring with heavyweights leading up to this fight. I watched the BT Sport thing. Yeah. What's the sort of mindset behind that?
That's just things we do in the gym. We just mix it about sometimes. Like, sparring partners don't come down and there's no one there. He might throw me in there. All right, who's here? All right, go on YouTube, jump in today. Like, there's times I've sparred a lot of guys, like with Chris Birkin. Like, he's a super bantam. Yeah. We've been in the ring before, do you know what I'm saying? But we're not trying to like belt each other out or anything. So the heavyweight got in, he's using his weight to pressure me and push me about, but he's not going to come in there and throw a shot that's going to knock me out. Maybe like once in the round, he might just dig me to the body to let him know I'm still the bigger guy, but it's just things we do. It's something different, Sparring a middleweight is very different to sparring a heavyweight, so I've got to be more switched on. And it's just things we do. It wasn't nothing specific like, spar a heavyweight because he's that strong. It's just things we do in the gym.
Fighting for the British title, vacant title. How much does it mean? I know it's sort of a question that I guess asked to a lot of people that fight for the title, but especially the Lonsdale belt. We know the history behind it. How much would it mean to yourself to win that belt?
Yeah, it would mean a lot, man. There's a lot of history behind that belt, especially in the middleweight division. Like the middleweight division and super middleweight division in the UK has been booming for years. Yeah. So to add myself to that list and to, join the long list of names that have won that title and join the history of the British middleweights, that's amazing, man. And obviously being the champion of where you're from, that's always a good thing. It's one of those things that I would cherish. So I'm happy I'm fighting for it, man. And I've been calling for it for a while, so I'm happy I'm getting a chance to fight for it on Friday.
So I want to move away from your fight and to be talking about the middleweight sort of division. I want to talk about the best fighter in the world, number 1, number 2 pound for pound, Canelo Alvarez. We know the big news broke out that he's a free agent now. Yeah. You're in the middleweight division. He's a champion in that division, in other divisions as well. Yeah. But now he's a free agent. He can fight anyone. What one fight do you want Canelo to be facing next? You
know what? Since I heard the Caleb Plant fight, I think I want to see that. Okay. That's a good fight. Yeah, and that's like apart from Billy Joe, that's like the one super middleweight that's not that big. Because all the others are massive, like all the other champions. Like Benavidez is huge, Keller Smith is huge. So I think Caleb Plant, I think that'd be a good fight. I think I want to see that, yeah.
Finally, we've got one of our Brits flying out to America this weekend as well on Saturday night. Kell Brook fighting Terence Crawford. Talk to me about that one. I know a lot of people are going to be writing Kell off because Terence is such a great fighter. But how does that fight go in your opinion?
Terence Crawford is the best fighter in the world, man. It's a tough ask. It's a tough ask. But if he could do it, fair play to him, man. He'll do the country proud if he could do it. And that will probably be one of the biggest wins on away soil, especially the fact that no one thinks he's going to do it. Everyone thinks he's damaged goods, to say, without being disrespectful. Yeah. And everyone just thinks, Terence Crawford, including myself, that Terence Crawford is the best fighter in the world right now. So it's definitely a tough ask. And if he can do it, then, yeah, man, he'll do the country proud. But I can't see it.
Denzel, listen, good luck on Friday night. Saturday night, it comes normal to me. But Friday night, in a big, huge, anticipated fight. What do you want to say to the fans that are going to be tuning in on BT Sports on Friday night?
Listen, man, tune in. Hope you enjoy the fight. I'm going to put on the show. So, yeah, man, stay tuned, man. Don't blink.
That's Denzel Bentley. Talk to SecondsOut. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that, mate.